Earl Spencer at last sabotages Meg's cheap trick, utterly remove Archie and Lili from Spencer inheritance. Tom Bower's explosive new book, Revenge, Meghan, Harry and the War Between the Windsors, has seen him unpick the truth behind the couple by speaking to 80 people who know Harry and Meghan personally. Countless earth-shattering claims have been made by the author, from how Meghan failed to get on with Harry's friends, to the changes the palace forced the writers of Suits to make after the couple's relationship became public knowledge. Another very interesting story from Bower's book suggests that Diana, Princess of Wales's brother Earl Spencer, was asked to speak to his nephew about his closeness with Meghan. The author claims that not only did Earl Spencer and Diana's two sisters, Lady Sarah McCordale and Baroness Jane Fellows, fail to see the similarities between Meghan and Harry's late mother, as the prince reportedly hoped, but they thought that she would struggle to fit in with the royal family. Harry had introduced Meghan to Diana's two sisters, Jane and Sarah, and her best friend Julia Samuel. Harry assumed that Diana's family and friends would see a similarity between Diana and his fiancée. Both, he said, shared the same problems. He was disappointed. No one agreed that his vulnerable mother had anything in common with his girlfriend. More discomforting for him, they thought Meghan would not fit in with the royal family. The author continued, the unease was voiced by Charles Spencer, Diana's brother. At William's request, Spencer weighed in. 3 times married, Spencer cautioned his nephew to reconsider his haste towards marriage. His advice provoked a bitter reaction. This was going to be really hard. Harry would later reflect on establishing Meghan's place in the family. One of his recurring concerns was insufficient money if they married. Although Harry annually received about £1.5 million from Charles, Meghan had been advised to continue acting to supplement their income. Recently, Archie and Lilibet's title controversy is getting more heat. After the death of Queen Elizabeth, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are fighting for their children to have royal titles. The change of titles happened after Queen Elizabeth's death. Archie and Lilibet are now considered Prince and Princess. However, they cannot have the His or Her Royal Highness. A source told The Sun, that's the agreement, they can be Prince and Princess but no HRH, because they're not working royals. The decision comes after a lot of talks over the past week, the source continued. They've been relentless since the Queen died and have been insistent that Archie and Lilibet are Prince and Princess, but they've been left furious that Archie and Lilibet can't take the HRH titles. In other news, royal biographer Angela Levin has taken a savage swipe at Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, saying the Duke is under his wife's spell and control. During her appearance on GB News, Levin gave her thoughts on the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's new Netflix series titled Harry and Meghan. The author fumed that Meghan would be nothing without the royal family and accused her of lacking gratitude in the documentary, which landed on the streaming platform last week. She also branded Harry and Meghan disgraceful after watching the highly anticipated tell-all. Angela raged, I thought they were disgraceful. I checked very carefully that there was one word of gratitude throughout 3 hours, but nothing. Meghan would be nothing if she hadn't married a prince and been looked after and encouraged by the royal family, and yet she takes that so much for granted that she couldn't even add that word in, she continued. She wants to kill it all off, absolutely crush it to pieces, and I think we've got to have a big fight back to protect our royal family and our own kingdom. You know, it's just beyond words really. And Harry, when he actually showed a glimpse of being not very pleased with that, because most of it he was looking at her adoringly, Levin added. And Harry, when he actually showed a glimpse of being not very pleased with that, because most of it he was looking at her adoringly, Levin said. That's okay, but when she did that phony curtsy and then with a squeaky voice said, I'm so pleased to see you, Your Majesty, he looked horrified. But he didn't have the guts to say anything about it on air. He could have done it quite nicely and said, you know, leave my grandmother alone. You saw his torso sort of clench and his jaw clenched and he swallowed, Nana added. Agreeing, Angela went on, and it shows actually how much he is under a spell and under a control, that he doesn't actually dare say anything about that. His grandmother, who he loved so much that he flew over to say that she was being looked after properly, none of that came through. He just accepted it because what Meghan says, Meghan's always right.